Okay, let's see. Am I even live? I think I'm live. Can you check, Brant?
Yeah.
I think I'm live. It's hard to tell. Yeah, okay. So hi everybody. Sorry everybody, technical difficulties. I don't even think anybody's watching this right now, so bear with me just for a second. Yeah, nobody's watching right now, so. Okay.
I'm watching.
Does it look okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry everybody, this is going to be a quick live stream. This is my first, well, I did a live stream a couple of years ago, and it was pretty lame, so I'm going to try again. I wanted to make it's been a long time since I've made a video, and let me get my book really quick. It's been a really long time since I've made a video, so I wanted to talk about what's been going on the past several months. And every time I try to make a video, I just feel like an idiot talking into a camera. So I figured, why don't I try a live stream, and then that way, maybe if there's other people watching, you all can interact. So anytime you have questions or want to say something, go for it, because then I can talk to you. And I don't even know if I'm supposed to watch my software or not. I'm just going to look at the chat area just to see if anybody is sending me any messages. And I don't even see where the chat area is, so sorry everyone, just give me a second. Oh, here. Well, there's 3 people watching, so hey everyone. Chat. No, I don't want to hide the chat. Sorry. Show chat. Here we go. Well, y'all send me something if you want. But anyway, if I don't get to you, I apologize. It's because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm figuring it out. But I wanted to talk about motherhood at 40 or over 40. I actually gave birth at the age of 41 and got pregnant for the first time at the age of 40. Never been pregnant before. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about, actually I wanted to talk more about it, but we're going to have to leave soon because of all the technical difficulties. So I don't know. I'll just do my stream of consciousness style of talking, and if I need to talk more about it, I can always do another live stream. So anyway, let's get into it. I got pregnant. We were very, very happy, and I will say, well, why so long? Why did it take until the age of 40? Because I am a product of the generation that was told that you should take care of your career first, and that if a goal in life of being a mother is really lame and you suck kind of attitude. I don't know if any of you out there got that, but from my experience, it was very strongly told to go be a career person, take care of yourself, which is not a bad idea in this, especially in this world. You have to be able to take care of yourself, because if you are aware, you probably have people in your life who, and I think it is a product of past generations. If you are unprepared to work in this world, you are in big trouble. So it's good to have a lot of tools under your belt. But long story short, I kind of hemmed and hawed about having children my whole life. And this talk that I want to give is, it's kind of, it's geared for everybody, but I think it's more geared towards people who are thinking about having children, or who might might want to have children but aren't sure about it. So if you can hopefully glean from what I'm telling you, hopefully it'll give you a little bit of just some hope for the future, and maybe get you out of your self-doubt. I don't know. There's a lot of things that go on in the mind. But anyway, with my situation, I did want to have children, and then I went through a period of time where I didn't think I wanted to have children. There was a period of time where I didn't think I would be a good mother, and there was a period of time, especially in my late 20s, early 30s, where I was just living in a very chaotic state, and it was really tough. You know, you don't have money. You go through trying to get your career going, and then, in my case, got into a long-term relationship that was going nowhere, and I tried really, really hard I lied to myself, basically. I tried really hard to say that this relationship was going somewhere. So that was 3 years of my life wasted. So that's something to think about if you're in a relationship and you're thinking about maybe having kids, and you just know deep down inside that this person that you're with is probably not going to be a good parent. I would do what you can to be honest with yourself. And I know that's really hard to do, because you can't really be honest with yourself until it's kind of retrospectively thought about. And because obviously when you're in a relationship currently, you're thinking it's great, but maybe that's a talk for another time. I want to stick with motherhood and what I have experienced. So all those life experiences had put motherhood off until later, and I think that's kind of more common these days. It seems like there are more people starting families a little bit later in life, and in this modern world, you can do that. I will say for myself, it was completely natural. It was, got married back in 2015 to my lifelong sweetheart, and that's a story for another time. We're going to have to do a live stream together about that. But we both kind of hemmed and hawed about children our whole adult lives, and finally just kind of said, yeah, let's do it. But we were also not quite sure. We left it up to chance and said, let's do it if it happens, and if it doesn't happen, let's not get too upset with ourselves, because we didn't want to be disappointed if it couldn't happen, which was a reality. So we were blessed with a pregnancy, and I almost didn't believe that it was real at first, because going 40 years of my life and never been pregnant, I didn't know if I could get pregnant. So it was quite a lovely surprise, and we were very excited. And then I do want to say, there are some of you out there who are experiencing this or might have experienced this. I went through a lot of the pregnancy not very happy. I thought that a lot of my pregnancy was going to be this glowing, magical thing. I had heard other women talk about how they love being pregnant, and I was just like, screw you, this is not fun. I was really sick at first, that goes without saying, but I was having, I wasn't feeling love for this person inside, and I was very confused by that, because I thought I would feel lots of love until I first started feeling him move around, and then things started kicking in. But it did fluctuate, the hormones are so real, and I knew it was hormones at the time, but I still couldn't be satisfied with that answer. It still felt like I was a bad person for having the feelings I did. And looking back now, I'm just like, oh, young pregnant lady, those were definitely hormones. So if you're feeling really sad or really dark or really angry, just understand that it is the hormones, and they are crazy. They're so crazy, and they make you feel like you're not yourself. So I am no expert. Obviously, I am a very new mother, and our child is almost 8 months old, so I have a lot of things ahead to experience with being a parent. But I can talk about motherhood, young motherhood, and the thing about it is you forget everything. So I have been keeping a journal. This, I don't put him on video because I'm kind of protective of him. That's another thing I want to talk about, but you can see a picture of him. That's okay. He is really, I know I'm his mom. I know that I'm supposed to say that he's really cute, but he is seriously really, really, really cute. And we get stopped in the store all the time. It's very fun. So he is a really sweet baby. But okay, so being pregnant, I'll talk a little bit about I think the main thing about the pregnancy is just, I think that second trimester, was the crossover between first and second trimester were really, really, really hard emotionally. And I might want to say that the crossover from second to third trimester was really hard emotionally too. It's really weird. But yeah, those hormones are no joke. So I really wanted to be one of those natural childbirth people. I didn't want to do it. We have a tub up on the hill. I didn't want to go that far and have the baby in the tub, but but I really wanted to try to go without painkillers as much as possible. But I kept the option open for an epidural if I needed it. And because I didn't think I would be that macho, but I had a feeling that I could withstand the pain for at least a little while. And I think I did a really good job. So with the natural childbirth, I had read a book that's really highly recommended by a lot of people and by me, is Ina May Gaskin's Guide to Childbirth. It's a really good book, and there's a lot of really good birth stories in it, and there's a lot of really good information, but I will warn you that if you are very hormonal and things are frustrating you during the pregnancy, there was a time where I felt like the information in that book, like I read the book, and then I felt like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this. I am not going to get any Pitocin. I am not going to get any suction. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to eat all my dates, and I'm going to bounce on my ball, and I'm going to go into labor naturally, and I'm going to tough it out and all this stuff. But she goes through all of the natural procedures, and then talks about Western medicine in a very good way. She was a midwife, and so she knows a lot. She's been at thousands of births and things like that. Anyway, just as a warning, you might get frustrated with the book, even though it's good, and I still recommend it. I really, really recommend it. It's excellent, especially if you are interested in trying to be as natural as possible, and even if you want to have medical intervention. It's a great book. Just keep in mind that you might get a little frustrated with okay, this is why I got frustrated, because I did not want to have induction. I did not want to have any assistance that way. I really wanted to go into labor naturally. I was all prepared. I said, when I go into labor, it might last for days, and we just have to be cool about it. And the thing that was happening was when my due date came, and I still was not having any signs. So that was getting really frustrating for me. It was really, really, really frustrating being late, being past your due date, which could be an erroneous due date, keep in mind, which I thought mine was. The whole time I was pregnant, I thought maybe I would be 2 weeks late. but I didn't understand what that meant in the sense of medical intervention. I went to a hospital. It was a wonderful, wonderful hospital. It was a midwife heavy hospital, so the midwives had a lot of power. Whereas if you go to a maybe more traditional hospital here, it might be more doctor heavy, and the doctors have a lot of say in pushing the Pitocin and pushing induction and things like that. Whereas the hospital where I went, they did a pretty good job of listening to me and letting me push my due date or the induction date later. A birth center will be more listening to you as an individual and kind of letting your birth. They'll give you more time with letting you go into labor naturally. Whereas the hospital I went, they were starting to tell me, you know, you're 41 years old. You are a week late. No. They started telling me at like 38 weeks, and typical pregnancy for 40 weeks. So at 2 weeks before my due date, they were telling me to start considering induction. And I got so upset. I was so upset. So I talked to a doctor, and I talked to some midwives. I talked to another doctor, and I said, is there any way that we could just push my induction to the actual 40-week mark? And as long as I keep getting the monitoring and the ultrasounds and things like that, I can, know that the baby is doing okay for the most part. The reason why they do this is because your placenta can fail, and the older you get, they worry about placenta failure. If your placenta fails, there's no signs of that. You don't get any warning signs, and the baby can die. So there's good reason why they want to do that. So I got to a point where I was 10 days late. I kept pushing they kept wanting to induce me, and I was like, nope. And I was bouncing on my exercise ball. I was doing everything. I even did the ridiculous. I was jumping up and down, and just you get desperate and you try everything. You're just pounding dates and things like that. So anyway, I went ahead and I acquiesced to their encouragement, and they were great, but they also said, please consider induction. So I went ahead and scheduled an induction, and 10 days after the baby was due, and we did. I don't know how deep into this I want to get. There are types of induction where you can get your cervix softened, is what they call it. So there is a type of drug that they can smear up there. And there's also a physical one called a Foley balloon or a Foley bulb, Foley. You can look that up. And that was the option that I took because it was physically invasive, but it was not a drug. It was not drug induction. And the midwife I talked to said that that was a really good one. As far as staying drug-free as much as possible, because my goal was to still try to go drug-free. And a lot of times if you hear that you're getting induced, they say, you might as well get painkillers because those contractions are going to be even more crazy. When you get induction, they are trying to get you to go into labor. So this Foley balloon goes up into the cervix, and it basically fills with water to the size of a dilation of 4. So what is it? You dilate to 9 or 10, 10 being the maximum when the baby is coming out. So the Foley balloon fills up over about a 12-hour duration. And by the time it gets to 4, the Foley balloon falls out, and they say, okay, well, now we'll get you going. Now we'll inject you with some Pitocin. I'll tell you about that. A lot of you know, but some of you don't. We'll inject you with Pitocin, get the labor started, and we'll get you going to having your baby. Once the labor, you know, at that point, you might say, well, let's just shoot that epidural in now. Let's do some other painkillers. Let's get that going. I said, no, let me just try with the Pitocin, no painkillers. And Pitocin is a synthetic form of oxytocin. Oxytocin is the natural chemical that your body produces when you go into labor naturally, and it is what makes your contractions happen to get the uterus contracting to push the baby out. So that's what oxytocin is. It's a natural hormone. I believe it's a hormone. I could be wrong about that, but it's what your body produces. Excuse me. Pitocin is the synthetic form of that, and so that's what they give you at the hospital. They give you Pitocin, okay, to mimic the oxytocin. And so they started a little tiny drip of Pitocin, and it was hardly anything. Well, Brant's in the other room. He might remember. I might have it written down somewhere. It was the tiniest little bit. And I just went into contractions, and I was bouncing on the ball. And before this happened, the midwives came in and said, because, you know, some of you know, my husband used to work with humpback whales, which was an amazing job. And so we were telling the midwives about his amazing job getting in the water with humpback whales, and they were just so amazed by that. And they said, oh, you should play some humpback whale song while you're going into labor. That will help soothe you. And we're like, ooh, that's a really good idea. So we were playing the humpback whale, which they make all kinds of groaning and, you know, all those sounds. And so that was going, and I was bouncing on the ball and getting these contractions, and they were starting to get, I felt pretty good. I was like, yeah, I'm doing great. But as the contractions were going, they were getting stronger, and I would just kind of, I would moan my way through in a similar way that if you have panic attacks, if you've ever had a panic attack, one of the techniques you can use to get through a panic attack is breathe slowly in through your nose, and then you can moan your way out, just until all the breath is out. So I was just kind of doing that, and I was kind of humming it out, I was just doing that. And doing that through the contraction. And that seemed to do okay for a while, and then they were just getting bad, and I was like, you know, it was hard. But the main key is to stay calm and to not be fearful. And the Ina May Gaskin talks about that, you know, in our Western culture, we are, which I love our Western culture, I really do, but through TV and movies, we are trained to think that going into labor is this big commotion where everybody is screaming and cars are honking their horns and accidents are happening, and it's kind of ingrained in us that it's a scary process, and it really can be a long, drawn out, calm process until you get to certain points. So and obviously everybody's different, but at that point for me, it was starting to get a lot more painful, but I could still manage it. And I had the TENS unit. Let me grab it really quick for those of you who don't know. TENS unit is a really, really awesome thing for labor. I highly recommend it. If you're not familiar with what these are, it's TENS, TENS. And it's just a pain relief therapy. It has a battery pack, and it has little sensors that you stick to yourself, and you can modify it's like little pulses of energy, of electricity going into you. And I had them right down on my lower back where the pain was. And I just had it pulsing, and every time a contraction came, I'm telling you, I jacked it up to the highest possible vibration I could, and it helped so much. And then it didn't help anymore. It got to a point where it wasn't helping anymore. So, but I was doing that, and I'm trying to decide what I'm going to tell. Long story short, I ended up in the shower. My hospital, the midwife heavy hospital, had individual rooms and individual bathrooms with bathtubs, which was awesome. So my nurse put me in the shower and and I was like, there's no way I can make it to the shower. And long story short, got on the bed. I was, I'm not going to tell that part. It was, the contractions were intense. There was absolutely no time for epidural. I went through the entire thing with no painkiller, no epidural, but I'm telling you, it was under 2 hours from the first contraction until he was born, which is pretty unbelievable. The staff couldn't believe it. They were kind of freaking out. At the end they were like, I've never seen anything like this. That was so fast. So I think I'm a pretty rare case in how quickly that labor went. But I was able to do it. I did it. After it was all done, I was in shock. My body was in shock, and I said, I'm never doing that again. But if I do it again, I am getting an epidural. That's what I was kind of joking about. But it was incredible. And I'm telling you, I know it sounds silly, but I like to say I had a phoenix experience. I am a different person. I'm a much different person than I was before the pregnancy. And then, it was a slow, gradual increase, and then the labor, and then very, very different. That's why it's so hard for me to make videos now. Every single time I try to turn on the camera, I just feel stupid. So that's why I'm forcing myself to do this live stream, because there's no real, I just start it and go. But I hope this is helping people. I kept this journal. Actually, I have 2 journals. I have a journal next to my bed that I write in almost every night, although I've been kind of lazy about it the past few weeks. And I write just kind of daily stuff. But I have this journal, which is the months of milestones. And in the first month, I wrote the main things down, and I'm really, really glad that I did, because I would have forgotten a lot of these things. Let me see. Oh, looks like I'm getting comments. Ooh, sorry everybody. I see a lot of people commenting. I'm just gonna respond to the comments. Let me finish my video, and then I will oh, hi everybody. Hi everybody. Oh, hi. Okay, I'll go back to these at the end. So, where was I? Darn it. Okay, keeping the journal. So, first month, our baby was born with a lot of hair, like a lot. And so, it's very cute. The first month, he grabbed his hair and started screaming and didn't know what was happening. That was really sweet. And the first 3 months are hard as far as the sleeping goes. That's what they joke about and say the 4th trimester is. So it's kind of like the baby is still kind of angry about being born, and is still very uncomfortable. And so, and living here in the cabin, I think I mismeasured our floor space. We are definitely around 400 square feet living in this cabin. It's a 2-room cabin. It's really tiny, and we have outdoor kitchen and water services, just a sink and a shower, and then we're building a studio outside, an art studio. So it's very tight quarters here, and we have been getting rid of so many things, but it's still kind of a challenge. But we are almost there. I built that shelf space back there, which has helped a lot. and I obviously need to reorganize it. But our bedroom is pretty great. Our clothes, I'm still kind of going through all the clothes and getting rid of things. All of the baby things, we have never bought. Okay, that's a lie. We bought 5 sets of onesies when he was a newborn because all the other onesies that we had were just a little too big and we kind of needed him in something. But that's seriously it. Everything else has been given to us. My sister-in-law gave us tons of clothes. A friend of mine from school that I grew up with gave me tons of clothes from her kids. I mean, we haven't spent any, like, hardly any money on clothes at all. So, other things we have spent some money on, like carriers, and I got the boba wrap, which is just a big piece of cloth. It's like 15 feet long or something. You could make one. It's a boba wrap. They also have Moby wraps. I think I got the Moby wrap. I can't remember which brand. But it's made of like a jersey t-shirt fabric, a little bit stretchy. I was going to make my own, but I just, by the time he was born, I was just like, whatever, let me buy one. So I did, and for the first 3 months, that thing is awesome. Even more, like, he just snugly fits in there, and you can walk around with him, and you can have some hands-free for a little bit. Let's see. So yeah, going through just really quick. Starting to hold his head up. Starting to hold his head up the second month. Starting to smile and starting to laugh a little bit the second month. But that can be different for other babies. I did hear him laugh in his sleep once. Third month, he was doing this thing where he was holding his hands like this, and he could see himself in the mirror really well, and he just loved himself in the mirror. He would just go, ooh, and laugh, and very sweet. He still loves himself in the mirror, so. Let's see. We've been going out. We don't go out a lot, but we have gone out to eat a couple times with him, and he's been great. One time when he was about 6 months old, you know, he's starting to grab at things, but I mean, depending on where you are, it's really not that bad of a thing. One of you can hold him, and as long as one of you is holding, seems like to me, he's happy as long as someone is holding him. And I mean, he needs to eat and all that stuff, but if you time it right, we've been doing okay. He eats a lot. Exclusively nursing him. He's starting to eat foods now, so I've been introducing him foods, little avocado and vegetables, spinach, and I introduced to him some chicken. He loved that. And, you know, you introduce one food at a time to see if they're allergic to anything. So you feed, let's say if you introduce avocado, you feed him avocado for a few days and see if there's any allergic reaction. And, yeah, the sleep got better around, I don't know. I mean, I don't really sleep that well. He wakes up, you know, throughout the night. I watched a lot of sleep training videos. Oh, we got to get going. I'm sorry. We have to go, everybody. But I'll talk more about this stuff. Being at the cabin. What did I title this video? I just want to make sure I cover everything. Any of these live streams, I'm going to start doing these live streams. This is fun. I enjoy this a lot. It's way better than trying to talk into a camera. So, motherhood after 40, pregnancy and life with baby in a log cabin. And then I'll get to the comments if there are any questions. Aw, baby's crying. Is everything okay, Brant?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and he could probably eat. So, yeah, I'll do more of these live streams. This is fun. But life in the cabin, we have a little tub for him that I bought. Ooh, I should have brought that in. I can't remember the name brand of it, but I got it off of Amazon. I'll show it another time. So since our shower and water sink and everything is outside, we have this tub, and it can fit a newborn. It has a little baby chair in it, and it's molded in. And then it has like a seating area for a bigger kid. And so I just fill that with water. And when it's cold, like in the winter, I just bring it inside, and he loves it. And when the summer, when it's hot or whatever, we just bathe him outside. So that's pretty easy. What else? It's really... We had to get a new rug. We had to get 2 new rugs because this floor in the cabin is really dingy. And so we kind of scrubbed it and swept it, but it's still not good for a baby. So we put a carpet down, and it's excellent. He can crawl around, and the baby proofing has been kind of interesting in here, but we've been able to manage it so far. It's just we're kind of baby proofing as he's growing, and so he's crawling around now, and he's going after things. So I know I'm in big trouble when he starts walking, but we'll be outside a lot and things like that. Oh, talking about another carrier really quick. I had the little one. It was kind of like a it's the Walmart brand Ergo baby front carrier. It was cheap. I shouldn't say cheap. It was inexpensive. It was great, and I used it, and I still kind of use it a little bit, but he's kind of too big for it now. So now I have, just really quick, I just want to get the back. Oh, it's in the car. Yeah. Darn it. Okay, well, sorry, I'm very unprepared. I'll have to show it for another video, but we got a hiking backpack with the bars that you can set up on the table so that when I'm home, when Brant's at work or whatever, I can just stick him in the backpack and I can get chores done, and he falls asleep in it, and so it's great. Exercising and stretching is like unbelievably important. During the labor, I did something to my right hip and something to my right knee that I have no idea what happened. It was just such a commotion, but I did something, and I'm gonna have to go see what I did. Especially my knee has gotten better because I grounded my knee into the anyway, it was intense. But I did something to my hip. My back, neck area, wrists. Okay. You just got to stretch and do light weightlifting. Okay. I'm going to do more on this. Let me just get to the questions and comments really quick. I'm not going to read just the comments unless there's like a question, because just to protect your privacy. I don't know if y'all care, but well, hello, Homestead girl. I'm not going to say your name just in case. I don't know. Hormones are crazy no matter what age. Yep. Me too. So stuck. Haha, Lady Garden Hoe. That's funny. So there are 2 people leaving comments. Hi, you two. Nice to see you on here. Okay. Let's see. I was induced for all my children. It was hard labor. Yeah, it's hard. Oh my gosh, getting induced is creepy. It was fun. Bye, girl. It was nice to hear from you. And how's Julie doing? I will let her answer that. She's doing her own thing, and but I don't want to answer for her. I should talk about that summer that Julie was up here and we did Bonnet Babes. That was fun. All right, everybody, thank you so much. I hope that was mostly informative for people who want to have children, who are living off grid. I'll talk more about it. I'll talk more about this kind of stuff and family and everything. And anyway, have a good day. And I'm going to live stream again. This was fun. All right, take care, everybody. Bye. Uh-oh, I should have known how to turn off a live stream before I said bye.
You have to stop it on the...
Yeah, I have to go to my thing. Bye-bye.